Good morning.
Morning, Melissa.
Morning, Melissa.
Good morning. Morning, Vijette. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. I'll be here. Gonna darken my screen for a minute.
Morning, Kelly and JJ.
Morning. Sorry, I'm a minute late.
You're not alone.
No problem. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning,
Good
JJ.
morning.
And sorry, is JJ on? JJ, is he? He's not on here, is he? Oh, there he is. I have a time delay today. Good morning, all. So we are just missing Kathy and Monica. Do we know if they are
Monica?
attending?
Monica has a doctor's appointment this morning, so she will not be joining us.
Okay.
And Kathy indicated she would be.
Okay, let's give Kathy one more minute. What do you think?
Right. And Marcy had a pet emergency this morning, so she is not going to be joining us. She had to get an animal to the vet.
No, those are one of the worst kinds of emergencies. I know from personal experience. Lots of them.
Yeah, you know well.
I do. A dog that eats stupid things. So, you know. Although that's been better.
Well, even without Kathy, we do have quorum. So whenever you're ready to start, we can go ahead.
You know what we do? So why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm going to call our executive committee meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. 9:03 a.m. now. Thank you so much. All right. Marcy, do you want to do roll call, please? Was Marcy on? She's not
actually,
here this morning.
no,
is she?
Right.
Oh, that I thought you said Lottie went to the vet, not Marcy. Okay, wrong person. Okay.
No, it's okay. I'll do roll.
Thanks, John.
Melissa?
Yes, I am present.
Okay. Gianna?
Here. Good morning.
All right. Vijette?
Good morning. I'm here.
JJ?
Morning, everyone. I'm here.
Kelly?
Here.
Monica? Not here. And Kathy Lewandowski? Not here yet. Okay. For staff, this is John. I am here. Lonnie?
Good morning, everyone.
Mike?
Good morning, everyone.
Sarah?
Here.
Jason?
Morning.
All right. I think we have everyone.
Okay, thank you so
We are
much.
good to go.
Thank you, John. So let's look at agenda item B, our review of our executive committee meeting minutes from September 13th, 2024. I hope everybody had an opportunity to review those minutes. Are there any comments or corrections that need to be made to the minutes? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call for a motion to approve the minutes as written for September 13th, 2024 for executive committee meeting. Do I have a motion?
This is Vijette, so moved.
Thank you, Vijette. Do I have a second?
This is Jana. I'll second.
Thank you, Jenna. All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Is anyone abstaining? Okay, motion carries. Thank you so much. Agenda item C, our fiscal contracts update with Lonnie.
Give me 1 second. Hopefully you guys are able to see the ADDPC financial update.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So ACL granted a no-cost extension for fiscal year 2022, extending the project period through September 30th of this year. The council has fully liquidated these funds and completed the work by the extended September 2024 deadline. The council received a total allotment of $1,501,328 for fiscal year 2023. The council has fully obligated these funds. A no-cost extension for the period of performance has been granted and now runs through September of next year, so September 30th, 2025. And there's approximately $117,470 remaining to be liquidated of those funds. The council has received a fifth allotment for fiscal year 2024 in the amount of $3,482, bringing the current award amount to $1,500,684. The obligation and project periods are through September 30th of 2025, so next year. There's approximately $4,350 remaining to be obligated of those funds. And the council has received the first allotment for fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $332,208. Currently, we are estimating the award total to be at level funding, but that may change. The obligation and project periods are through September 30th of 2026, and the final report will be due January 28th of 2028. Does anyone have any questions on this sheet? Okay, moving on to the next sheet. Sorry, you guys could probably see that, huh? This is the council funded project. Sorry, it's small. Just really quickly on this shows all the current projects funded by the council. All the proposals voted on during the September full council meeting are now reflected on this sheet. We are following up with any outstanding invoices for the contracts that ended in September. Any questions on this sheet? Okay, finally, and again, this one is always so small, and I apologize. I'll make it as big as possible. This sheet has been updated to reflect the projects outlined. Man, sorry guys.
It's Friday, Mark. Thank heavens, Lonnie, right?
Yes, I don't.
It's all right. It's looking much better now. Thank you so much.
I can't win for trying. So yeah, this sheet has been updated to reflect the projects outlined in the fiscal year 2024, 2025, and 2026 work plans, as well as the funding that has already approved in the prior years. The funding year is generally the year prior to the project year. So of course, the years that I listed out are different than the years that are on the sheet. Fiscal year 2025 funds will be used primarily for projects to be decided on in the fiscal year 2026 work plan. Currently, there is an anticipated surplus of $227,000 for fiscal year 2025 funds down here. Which may be needed if there's reduced funding, because again, we're right now currently anticipating level funding. The administrative budget right here has been increased to reflect the work to be done with the comprehensive review and analysis, which will be discussed later on the agenda and voted on a little bit later. Any questions on this sheet? Okay, that's it for me. Sorry, guys. Thanks for bearing with me.
No worries, Lonnie. Thank you so much. All right, thank you. Let's move to agenda item D, please, with John for Executive Director report.
Okay, a couple of quick things to just mention, and I guess bring back to your to your attention. One is the annual work plans. We mentioned at the last executive committee and council meeting that we had submitted our FFY 2025 and FFY 2026 work plans to ACL. We were at that time awaiting approval of those plans, and those plans have since been approved. Fiscal year 25, we shared with the council. I think everybody has had a chance over the last couple of months to look at what we submitted. Fiscal year 26 was more or less a duplication of 25, with a number of our projects intended to continue from one year to the next. Obviously, our goals don't change, our objectives don't change. Some of the activities may alter slightly, but for the most part, they are the same. I would mention that fiscal year 26's plan was conditionally approved because ACL recognizes that some things may get altered as time goes on. So anyway, we're in good shape there. There were no requests for changes. Everything was accepted as submitted, and we are good to go moving forward. Regarding the no-cost extension, Lonnie mentioned that we did apply for a no-cost extension for some of our funding from fiscal year 23 in order to be able to complete some work, primarily work being done on the data hub, which is on our website. Alex Kurtz, the researcher from ASU who oversees that project, needed some additional time to build in some Census Bureau information and some information that's being shared with him by DEF and DDD. So that extension was approved, and that is moving forward as well. And that the contract for that project was extended through the end of January next year with the funding extension. So we're in good shape on that as well. And by the end of this year, early next year, we will have a whole new set of really valuable data incorporated into the data hub. So we're pleased with that. Regarding the federal grant award, Lonnie also mentioned that we've gotten our first notice of award from ACL regarding fiscal year 25 funding. It was about $334,000. It is important to note, of course, that we are still under a continuing resolution. Congress has not passed a budget. The president has not signed a budget. We do not have a formal federal budget. We just have the continuing resolution, which means that, as has been the case for things like centuries now, we will not get a final notice of award until some point in the future, possibly next spring, more likely, as we found out in fiscal year 24, we won't know the actual number until the final month of the year. We didn't know what our final number was until September of 2020 of this year. So it is always a very uncertain situation when it's a continuing resolution. Also, as Lonnie mentioned, we are expecting level funding. We've been given no indication that it won't be, but we have to recognize that there is a new administration coming into office, and lots of changes could happen. We just don't know. Unless a federal budget is signed before the current president leaves office, we are still up in the air. And so we'll continue to keep you updated as we know more. But for the time being, we're proceeding as though everything remains as it was in the prior year and the year before that. But just know that there is some uncertainty. Regarding the 2024 community survey, we've mentioned a couple of times that we conducted a survey starting in August, continuing through September. We will be making a presentation on that survey, or I should say Sarah will be making a presentation on that survey at next week's council meeting. We did not have, I wouldn't say we had overwhelming community response, but the response we got was really instructive. It was really enlightening. And so Sarah's going to be sharing some of the key data points from the survey, some of the things that were shared with us, and things that can help inform our next state plan development and help us understand what the community views as being necessary to adequately serve people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Now, I would also point out, and we'll talk about this a little when we get down to item E, as we move into the process of developing the next 5-year state plan, we will be doing additional community outreach and asking for additional community input so that the plan we develop fully incorporates or as fully as possible incorporates the key needs of the IDD community around the state. So this is an ongoing process. This community survey was really just intended to get a first blush look at what our constituents feel is important. And we'll be doing a whole lot more outreach over the course of the next 18 to 24 months. And we obviously will be keeping you informed about all of that as well. So look forward to the presentation that's going to be given next week. And I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to share anything right now. But it will be, I think, very, very interesting. And Sarah will have a formal presentation on that next Friday. Finally, and I want to be very clear that ADDPC is a nonpartisan organization, or actually, I guess I should say a multi-partisan organization. We are not political, except to the extent that we engage in advocacy with our political leadership, elected officials, as well as appointed officials. But I think it bears pointing out, not that anybody is blind to this, but it bears mentioning that, as I said a few moments ago, there is a lot of uncertainty related to what the next year, 2, 3, 4 will look like as far as councils are concerned. I'm sure JJ has some concerns as well from the P&A side, Kelly probably from the USED side. We don't know what our future holds, and I don't want to paint too dark a picture of it, but we do know that we exist because of federal legislation. We do know that, change can take time, and so for the time being, we feel as though we have a certain degree of security. But the fact is that an administration is coming in that has proposed truly significant changes to the systems that support people with disabilities, that support the education system, that support a whole host of social services that we have could become accustomed to in this country, and to a large degree, perhaps have sort of taken for granted. Some of those things may change. We just don't know, but we have to be prepared. We are fortunate as a council that our National Association, National Association of Councils on Developmental Disabilities, now has as its executive director an individual who came most recently from the Administration on Disability at ACL. She is well versed in working with people at the federal level. She knows a great many people at the federal level, and she is as committed as anyone I've ever met to the needs of individuals with disabilities, because she's a parent of children with disabilities. She herself has a disability. So we have great leadership at the national level. We also have good relationships with many of our elected officials from Arizona. Our senators, both, we've had strong relationships with Senator Kelly for a number of years, and with then Representative Gallego, now Representative, soon to be Senator Gallego. Both of them are well informed about our issues and are key individuals that we can work with at the federal level. Most, though not all, of our other House members from Arizona are well informed about individuals with disabilities and disability issues, and they are people that we have had conversations with, and we feel as though we can work with. At the state level, we know that the legislature is going to continue to be controlled by one party, as has been the case for quite a long time. We are working right now because there are a number of new members coming into the legislature, and a number of longtime members who are no longer going to be there. We're working right now to try and identify who the best people to work with will be on issues that relate to the IDD community. It's going to take us a little bit of time, and certainly we have a lot of educating to do for those members who are new, or those members who are returning, who've been away from the legislature for a while. So there's a lot of work to do, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of uncertainty. We will keep you apprised as we know anything related to changes or whatever may be coming down the pike. We certainly are not going to keep the council in the dark, and you all are well versed on these things as well. You I'm sure stay apprised of them through your own lives. Just know that we will continue to do the work we do. We are committed as a staff, to making sure that our state plan and our annual work plan get carried out, that we identify new opportunities as they arise, and that we pursue the best possible outcomes for the communities that we represent. I certainly welcome any input from members of the committee, but I want to assure you that despite whatever uncertainty we feel or whatever challenges we think may be on the horizon, we will continue to do the work we do. And I think it's universal among the council that we are all committed to this cause, and none of us are going to shy away from it just because we don't know exactly what the future is going to hold. So I'll end with that. But if anyone has any comments, I'd certainly welcome them.
JJ, go right ahead.
So first, I want to thank you, John, for sharing that. And obviously, we share a lot of the same sentiments as the Protection and Advocacy Agency. I'm going to have a full staff and board meeting today to kind of share some of the same uncertainties, but that we will continue to operate and go on. And this change in administration does bring challenges, but it also brings some opportunities, as you said, to educate. We as the P&A do have unrestricted dollars to do some lobbying with non-federal, non-state dollars. So if there's an opportunity for us to do that, or you see, a role for us to utilize those funds, let us know. In addition, obviously as part of the DD network, we're the law firm part of the arm. And so at least I feel that there'll be lawsuits coming up, meeting some of these changes with challenges in the courts. So, again, bring those to our attention if you're hearing them on the ground. The issues that are coming through your lines to forward to us. And then I'll also say, we, just to speak facts, I mean, we know that our Health and Human Service Director is RFK Jr. Obviously he's got strong opinions about certain things, but it was his father who helped create the DD Act way back when. And, obviously he did have an aunt with a developmental disability who was institutionalized. And so maybe there is some of that in his roots that he would remember and possibly be a safeguard for organizations like ours that are committed to advocacy for the developmental disability community. But you also correctly note eliminating the Department of Education as a proposal would greatly impact our students with disabilities. So there's a lot of, right now, uncertainty, I guess is the right word to say, but at least we are, and I know we'll partner with you to meet those challenges head on and however we have to do that. So I appreciate, John, your leadership during this time. I think this will bring us closer than we already are because united, we have to face these challenges. The state legislature, again, it is what it has been for a while, but, we'll have to get out there and educate as we always have. And hopefully, meet those challenges as we have, I think, historically. So a lot of uncertainty, I think, is the way I'm feeling right now. But I also know that we have good partnership, and that's what I'm confident in this coming year, that we'll become closer and united in our fight. Thank you.
Thank you, JJ. Agreed on all that, and Jana too. Are there any other comments or questions for John? Okay, thank you, John. Thank you so much for staying on top of that. All right, agreed, Sarah. It was a good analysis from both. Okay, moving on to agenda item E, our state plan development for 2027 through 2031. That's mind blowing. So John and Lonnie, it looks like, shall be talking about this one.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of scrolling through this. Sorry.
No, go
Scrolling
right ahead.
through this document right now. You all received a copy of the document, and I hope you had a chance to review it. Just to reiterate what we probably said too many times already, we have to begin the process of developing a new 5-year plan for the council. We are in the 4th year now of our existing 5-year plan, but this process takes some time, and it requires us to go through a lot of data collection, data analysis, community input, plan drafting, additional community input, and then plan finalization. So it is time consuming, and it is important that we begin it early enough so that we have time to accommodate all of the different aspects of the plan. So What we are proposing, and we've had conversations with Kelly and with a member of her staff for several months now, related to contracting with the Institute for Human Development at NAU to undertake the really the kind of coordination and development of what's of a comprehensive review and analysis, which is really the first stage of state plan development. There are some very distinct requirements placed on us by ACL for the kinds of information that we have to compile and then we have to then report on. I think the easiest way to phrase it is that we have to do a landscape analysis. We have to understand what the situation is for people with disabilities, and in particular intellectual and developmental disabilities in the state of Arizona. We have to issue a report on that, and that has to include a variety of input from professionals, from self-advocates, from caregivers, from various other parts of the various communities that we serve. And from that comprehensive review and analysis, we then draft an initial 5-year plan or initial state plan for the council, which gets put out for public comment. So, long story short, we have been talking with Kelly and a member of her staff about IHD conducting this CRA process over the course of approximately the next 12 months. And what you have in front of you, what we shared with you, is the scope of work and proposal, along with a budget provided by IHD to undertake this work. Now, it is, as I said, kind of a multi-phase project, and what you're looking at in this proposal is just the first year's work. We are also talking with Kelly about undertaking the next phase in this project now, and the terminology is going to get a little bit confusing because in this proposal they talk about phase 1 and phase 2, and then in the larger scheme there's phase 1, which is this CRA, and then there's phase 2, which is taking the draft plan out to the community and getting community input and then finalizing the plan. So I apologize because I'm probably not explaining it very well, but there is, let's call it year 1 and year 2. You're looking at the year 1 proposal, which would include data collection, comprehensive review and analysis, and issuing that report. You can see the project deliverables. That will include surveying the community. It will include reaching out to key representatives of different organizations and throughout the state, and it will include doing some town halls or community conversations. You can see the timeline as well. We're looking for issuing a phase 1 report by the end of May next year, phase 2 report, which is the surveys, by July 31st, and the town halls also by July 31st, and then the final CRA by September 30th. Now, we are also building in a little wiggle room because we know some of these things can take more time than anticipated. So we are also offering, or we are anticipating perhaps that it will take even up until December 31st of next year, but we're building that flexibility into the proposed contract. The timeline and so forth for the various activities are included here, and the budget is attached as well, along with personnel breakdown and so forth. What we are looking at for, I'm sorry about all my scrolling through here, but what we are looking at essentially for the first year of the project is council funding of $98,439. There is, of course, a 25% match required on the part of IHD, and total project cost of about $131,000. This is in line with what we anticipated. As Nalani mentioned, we have built this. We built the funding for this into the budget for the upcoming fiscal year, and so we don't anticipate this is going to be a burden. It's not, it's not unbudgeted money. It's something we knew was coming down the road, and we would have to make accommodation for it. And I've really glossed over a whole bunch in here, but you have the scope of work and proposal in front of you. So I'm hoping that you've had a chance to look at it or will have a chance to look at it. Lonnie, you want to fill in any gaps that I've left?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. As far as the budget goes, it's primarily for the staff that will be working on the project, as well as the cost to cover the travel to be out into the community. Also, a good portion of it is for translation and interpreting services. And again, I would just ask that NAU, if those services aren't necessary, or requested for whatever meetings are out in the community, that may be a way of creating some cost savings. But yeah, that's primarily how the budget is broken out.
Is it okay if
I would add, oh, go right ahead, Kelly.
Also, what you just mentioned, Lonnie, we're going to be working very closely with ADDPC and likely some of you, so that like when we're doing outreach for the community events, what we were calling town halls in this document, reaching out to you for dissemination to see if folks in your area can attend, those kinds of things, and helping us spread the word. So a lot of this, I think, is going to be kind of collaborative. So it's not like we're just taking it and running with it and leaving you all out and then at the end say, here's your report. And so when it comes to like the number of town halls and stuff, that's all up for the amount of data that we get, the amount we need. And it's kind of coming back around to if those from ADDPC, et cetera, believe that we have the information that will help inform the next 5-year plan. Does that make sense? And thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for mentioning that, Kelly, because there's no question that a project like this simply can't be done without the involvement of lots of different parties. And you know, the council, the members of the council are as invested in a good outcome from this as anyone. So we absolutely want to make sure that council members are involved in the process. I would also point out that many of you may be aware the Division of Developmental Disabilities is also working on or just beginning the process of developing a new strategic plan. And part of their work will include community surveys and outreach events. So I've had conversation with Zane Garcia Ramadan, who is the assistant director for DDD, about the possibility of us collaborating with them, sharing data, sharing information that they glean from the events that they're doing. And they're starting their process a little bit earlier than we are. They're actually starting this month to begin their community outreach. So he has agreed that DDD would be willing to share some of their findings, and we will share some of our findings, and perhaps collectively we can all build stronger and better documents or better plans out of what's being discovered from a community outreach. So I think that's a positive sign. I hope that's a positive sign, and I think it bodes well moving into the future. So basically, what we're asking for, and certainly would be happy to answer any questions anybody has, but what we're asking for is your assent for us to present this scope of work and proposal to the full council next week for its vote, so that we can then enter into a contract with IHD to begin the work and start us on the road to getting our 2027 to 2031 state plan in place. Any questions that we can answer for you? Or any comments on the process?
Hey, John, I was just thinking when you just said that, yikes, 2031. Are we really using that in our terminology right now? Oh, goodness. It's blowing my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. We're acting on the assumption that we're going to make it to 2031. Yeah.
That's right. Sorry, that didn't contribute at all. It just was blowing my mind.
It really is mind blowing. I have to be on board with that one.
Yeah, agreed, Jana. Reading that number, I was like, oh, wow, that's coming.
Yeah.
No, my main comment is I'm so glad, when we talked about doing this, finding the right entity or agencies to take care of the CRA is daunting. And in the past, I think most of us are probably familiar, Erica, when she was on board, did our last big one, but that was her background. That was what she knew, right? So I'm feel really fortunate that we have NAU and Kelly and her team up there, that we're looking at doing this with them. I think that's a wise choice.
Yeah,
Okay.
the work has in large part been done internally, I think, in the past. Although I think when in 2020, 2021, there was an outside contractor brought in to do some of the second phase work, the community outreach and initial plan drafting. I was part of that process when I was with the ARC. I was privileged enough to be on that a work group for that. But Erica is no longer here, and I will be the first to admit that I do not have Erica's research skills, nor do we have the cadre of interns to do the work. And I think Jason is the only person, perhaps, who did significant research work on that last iteration. And we could throw it all on Jason, but I think it would be wise not to. So, as much as we appreciate his skills, it might be a little more than one person can handle. So we're really pleased that Kelly is willing to entertain this prospect. And I have to say, and I will probably say it a million more times, the person from her staff, Megan Donahue, who is working with us on this, is really extraordinary. She is on top of things. She is organized. She's keeping us on task, even just in these initial conversations with regard to what the key elements of the project will be, how to approach them, how to schedule them and coordinate them. So we couldn't be more pleased with who is really going to lead this project moving forward. So if we have the executive committee's approval to push this forward to the full council, we would do so. And I don't know if that requires a vote, Melissa, or how that works.
I think it does, because it's so big and the funding amount. I think it's best if we do take a vote on this today. We do have it noted as an action item, so just to stay within our full transparency, yes. So I am going to call for a vote on this. And that being said, are there any further comments or questions for John or for Kelly? No. Okay. With that being said, I'm going to call for a motion to approve. This is going to go into full council for full council approval. Motion to approve the proposal for comprehensive review and analysis from the Institute for Human Development at NAU for the state plan development 2027 through 2031 in the amount of $98,493. Do I have a motion?
This is Jana. I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Jana. Do I have a second?
JJ seconds.
Thank you, JJ. All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed, please say nay. Okay, is anyone abstaining?
I am abstaining. This is Kelly.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. All right, with the majority of our executive committee, the motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to agenda item F, our full council meeting agenda for the 22nd of November. I'm going to get you guys out of here early today. Woohoo. Okay.
Be a quick one.
Yeah, it won't be that. We hope.
Okay. So with regard to the council agenda, I did provide a copy of this to everybody so you can see. For the executive director's report, I basically will cover the things that we've talked about today. And if there's any additional comment or discussion related to any of those items, we can entertain that. We will talk about the ISA and ask for approval from the full council for the contract with IHD. And then we're going to talk a little bit about an idea that Melissa and I have discussed, and that I think everybody is we talked about it with staff as well. We're all very pleased with the idea of putting together an ad hoc state plan development committee. And these would be, and I may have mentioned this in the past, these would be individuals who are located in different areas of the state and would be in a position to help us do community outreach in areas where we don't typically have a presence. And not to, spoil things, but like Vijette, we would hope that you would serve on that ad hoc committee. JJ or Bianca, somebody from Tucson to serve on that committee, Vanessa, Felix from Yuma, and then some other folks, Kelly or a member of her staff, serving from the Flagstaff area, so that we are reaching out to as many areas of the state as possible to make sure that we get input from residents in those areas. And this development or plan development committee will likely also include individuals who don't serve on the council, but who live in areas where we don't have council representation, but we desperately need the input from those communities. So we'll be talking about that a little bit more and just kind of making sure everybody's comfortable with that and moving forward with putting that committee together. We will have committee and work group reports as usual. And then we're going to have, I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a community survey presentation by Sarah. And that will include a PowerPoint that she's putting together, as I mentioned, also with the key findings of the survey. And then we've asked Melanie Mills, and I will change this because Sai-In from DRAZ is also going to be a co-presenter on that. Melanie Mills and Sai from DRAZ talking about the supported decision-making project that we are currently funding, that we're now in the, 40th year. No, it's been, council's been funding supported decision-making since, I think, 2019. The Arc of Arizona and DRAZ took over from Southwest Institute for Families and Children a couple of years ago, or about a year and a half ago, and they have been doing really exemplary work, reaching out to more and more communities than ever before, and more different professional communities. So they're going to do a presentation on what they've accomplished over about the last year and a half. And also for those council members who are not familiar with supported decision making, because I actually think there are a number who don't fully understand the concept, they're going to give a little grounding in what supported decision making is, in addition to talking about what they've achieved. And then finally, we'll have a presentation from Ryan Berry at the Arc of Tempe and Melanie Mills again from the Arc of Arizona about the Self-Advocacy Coalition and Leadership Project the council is funding. Once again, the council has been engaged in self-advocacy work and is required to be engaged in self-advocacy work by mandate from ACL. So for many years, this has been, a fundamental part of what we do. But the Arc of Arizona and the Arc of Tempe have been leading a new project over about the last 18 months. And once again, I think have done really exemplary work and are reaching out far beyond where we've gone before and reaching new communities, new populations, and building a stronger base of self-advocates around the state of Arizona. So Ryan will primarily be the one giving an update on what that project is accomplishing. And then, the standard announcements and call to the public. Any questions with regard to the council agenda for next week?
None from me.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Sarah, I'm looking forward to hearing about those survey results at our meeting. So thank you for the time you've been putting into that. I appreciate it. Okay, agenda item G. Does anybody have any announcements they would like to make? So quiet today. All right. Agenda item H, call to the public, but I do not note any public on the call. So guys, we're going to adjourn nice and early today. Thank you all so much for your time. I know you're all busy and it is really appreciated that you can show up and give us your input. Thank you all so much. And we will see you for sure on the 22nd in a week. Get ready for
Thank you all.
Thanksgiving, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a great Friday,
Oh.
great weekend.
Oh,
Sorry.
wait.
Oh,
Before you go,
Mike.
yes, thank you, John.
Thank you, Mike, for reminding us. Yes, we will be having an open house following the council meeting next week. I should have reminded everybody, the council meeting will be a hybrid meeting. We will be hosting it here in our office, and there will be the option for people to attend online if they can't make it to Phoenix, or or wish not to come to the council office. And then from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, we will have an open house for anyone who wants to attend. Announcements are going out. It's going to be in our newsletter that goes out today. And we hope you'll spread the word and invite any of your colleagues who have an interest in attending. We hope to just be able to give people a chance to come back to the office, get a sense of what we've been working on lately. We have lots of materials to give out, and we'll have snacks, and it'll be a good time will be had by all. Sarah?
In addition to having an announcement go out today in our email newsletter, which is an easy way to forward to your friends and network, we are creating a Facebook event, which will be easily shareable. And so I encourage everybody, if you're on Facebook, to mark as going or interested, because that will help the algorithm show it to folks in your friends list who also follow you and might be interested in coming out. It's going to be a nice reunion for a lot of us, but we also want to meet new people and new partners and broaden our network. So it should be a really good time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Sarah. And with that, John, I'm sure you're going to put this in, but when you send out the email for the full council meeting, you can just make it really big and broad that it will be a hybrid and all the information you just shared, please.
Absolutely.
I won't be able to make it, but have fun. I mean, the in-person part sounds fun.
We'll miss you. Will you join us for the meeting virtually?
Yes, most definitely.
Great. Okay. Maybe sometime in the future, into the new year, right? See your face in person.
Yeah.
Maybe. Thank you. I know it's a long drive for you and Vijette. Thank you so much.
I'm coming in person. I'm excited.
Yay!
Outstanding.
Yay! Thank you. I'll be there too, but my drive is not anything like yours. Goodness.
Awesome. Thank you, Vijette.
Thank you. All
I'm
right.
actually really excited to be alone in a hotel room. I'm not gonna lie. I have 3 kids. I'm like, it's gonna be amazing. I have a Kindle full of books that I'm gonna read.
You sound like me. I totally feel like it's a vacation for me, sort of, kind of. So good.
I love my children, but
We all need a break for
Hey,
sure, right?
breaks like that make you a better mom.
How many times have we all said that, Vijette?
right.
I love my children, but
Yeah, that is the truth. Well, good. I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person. There are so many council members that have never met face to face, so I'm hoping we get a good turnout for it. But I'm really excited about it. Thank you all so very much. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you're getting prepared for Thanksgiving in 2 weeks. Good heavens. So,
yeah.
Y'all have a great day. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye. See you in a bit, John.